Meg is so fun to play, but is her mecha form actually that good? I don't know, that's what we're gonna find out. When you pop your super as Meg, you instantly get 7,000 health worth of mecha, and that is a lot of health. But then it actually decays over time, 2% every single second, so after 50 seconds, all that health is completely gone. Which means it's not technically like you have 7,000 health, and it'll probably take less damage to actually kill you, since your health will have decayed a little bit in that time, just like your hopes and dreams. So in-game it's gonna feel like you have less than 7,000 health, or like 6,000 if you're not waiting around for a long time, and if you are waiting around for a long time, it'll feel like even less. He also has close to 7,000 health. He has 6,720. So honestly, playing 8-bit might feel like you have even more health than Meg with her mecha, because you can actually heal and get healed by other people as well. But the reason why 8-bit is so similar to Meg is because of the main attack. When you're playing Meg, you shoot 8 bullets with your main attack, 4 rounds of 2 bullets each, and they're pretty far apart, but they each do 336 damage. And that adds up to a total of 2688 damage. That's pretty good. But 8-bit actually does the exact same amount of damage, he just does it in 6 bullets and they're not as spread apart. But when you're playing Meg, if you aim it just right, you can actually hit all 8 bullets on a single target, and so the max damage for 8-bit and the max damage for Meg in her mecha is actually exactly the same. Now 8-bit does have a range of 10 tiles, whereas Meg only has a range of 8 2/3 tiles in her mecha. So that is a bit of a difference, so in that sense Meg is a bit weaker than 8-bit would feel. But like I said before, the spread of her attack is 3 tiles wide, whereas 8-bit, the spread only goes up to about 1.5 tiles. The mecha is just so chunky, and that extra width is gonna make you deal damage a lot more consistently. So basically, when you're playing Meg, it'll be easier than 8-bit to hit some bullets, but it'll be harder to hit all of them, and then on average, you're probably doing the same amount of damage with Meg or with 8-bit. And if you're wondering, the reload speed is also exactly the same at 1.5 seconds. Their stats are actually a lot more similar than you would expect, and that's why I do research for these videos. But then, of course, the biggest part about Meg's mecha is the second super attack that you get, which is absolutely nothing like 8-bit. But it is very, very similar to BB's main attack. Now, I know it's a super attack versus a main attack, but we can still look at how these stats compare, and since you charge up the super automatically, it's essentially like a main attack, just with a really, really slow reload speed. So when you use your second super as Meg, you're bonking your opponents for 3,360 damage. When you're running BB, you only do 1,820 damage. So Meg does 85% more damage per swing with the second super than BB does with her main attack. And on top of that, the range for Meg's super is actually increased compared to BB. For Meg, she can reach out 4 1/3 tiles away from her, whereas BB can only reach out 3 2/3 tiles. So Meg has 18% more range than BB, and that actually translates to 40% more area covered, which is a pretty big deal. It gets a lot more area control that way. And it's just going to be a lot easier to hit your opponent because you don't have to get quite as close to them as you do with BB. But you know, if your opponents are stupid enough to get close to you anyway, they're probably going to end up being super close to you anyway. So maybe it doesn't matter all that much, but it's a pretty big difference. Now, obviously, both of the attacks are in an arc shape, and they actually cover the exact same range or spread of 150 degrees. So the area of Meg Super is literally just BB's attack, but slightly scaled up. But now, of course, the main drawback to Meg Super compared to BB's attack is that it's a super and you don't get it that often. So you only get it once every 5 seconds, whereas with BB, you get it every 4/5 of a second. So you could probably charge up 6 BB attacks in the time it takes you to charge up 1 of Meg's super attacks. But that being said, the mecha also has the really good basic attack that's pretty much comparable to 8-bit's main attack, which is a really high DPS brawler. So the fact that you got these really 2 high DPS attacks in combination makes for a really good combo. And so no matter if your opponents are far away or they get close up to you, you should be able to deal with them fairly easily with the mecha. And so even though the stats aren't really good one way or the other, it's the fact that they've come together into the one brawler that makes her really good. I mean, if you didn't have the super attack, you'd basically just be a walking 8-bit, and with your gadget, you would probably have a similar amount of durability as 8-bit as well, but you would also be moving a little bit faster, which is definitely a plus since 8-bit is painfully slow. But then without the basic attack, you would just be a BB who attacks once every 5 seconds, and I don't know, just like hide in a bush the rest of the time. So it's the fact that you can use both of them that makes her really good. And so that means when you're playing with Meg, if you're not really able to get advantage of that second super very often, you're probably not going to be getting too much more value than you would by just running something like an 8-bit, especially since you don't like have any of 8-bit's gadgets or the main part, which is his turret that boosts you and your teammates. So you really do want to take advantage of the super when you're playing with Meg, and if you can take advantage of it, it's super strong. But without it, she's not going to be that strong compared to some other brawlers that you can run in the games. So that's what you want to focus on when playing Meg if you want her to work out really well for you. Now that doesn't mean you just run up and charge your opponent so you can get value out of the super, because it's not actually value if you just die right after. But if you can methodically get closer to your opponent, you will have a lot of pressure because they really have to stay far away from you. Otherwise, they're just going to get hit with like 3,000 damage. So, in conclusion, Meg is good if you play her right.